Yes, sir.
Hey guys, Rough Rider Talk Radio here, Sunday morning, and we got Glenn Gardone from Red Chocolate as a special guest. We got Vinny out in Edmond, Oklahoma, and we're live. How you doing, guys?
Good morning.
Excellent, Rick. Excellent.
Good
Okay,
morning.
good, good. So, Glenn, Red Chocolate. I'm going to talk a quick second about that because Glenn,
Go ahead.
when we booked him on the show, he went ahead and overnighted me some chocolate. I
How was
got
it?
it. I received it. It's awesome. It's
Cheetah?
sugar free. It's sugar free,
Did you
dude. Yeah,
did you eat
sugar free. Hell yeah, I ate them. What are you? I'm a chocoholic.
them?
Are you kidding me? We did a taste comparison because we got Halloween candy. So we had the Kit Kat out there, the Almond Joy, the Butterfinger, the a couple different kinds of M&Ms, and the red chocolate. Right? I'm a dark chocolate guy. So I got two forms of dark chocolate from red chocolate, a regular red chocolate and then a super dark chocolate. And that's the one I'm on right now, man, and that is good. You can't, obviously you can tell the candies, right? You can tell when you taste them, but you can't tell any of them are sugar free, right? And that's what I love most about red. There's not that aftertaste that I guess artificial sweeteners that people still put in when they say sugar free. That doesn't happen with red chocolate. So we're going to get with Glenn because he's the one that knows why that is. And he's going to start talking about red chocolate right now and then where to get it. And of course, we'll put up links and everything of where to go. It's at
Well,
hundreds of stores from
yeah.
viewing the website. It goes through and just flashes every store across everywhere where it's at. So,
Well,
Glenn, okay,
before he
Vin.
starts talking about chocolate, I want to hear the brief. What gave him the idea? What made him pursue his idea? How he did it,
Oh, I'm
and
sure
why
he's ready for that.
and
Well,
why he's
Vinny,
here
I'll tell you.
today.
Well, Vinny, I'll tell you, it's a really boring story, so I'm not going to talk about it. No, I'm kidding with you there. Actually, it's interesting. And Rick, I'm glad you got the package. You know, being Italian, you never show up to a person's house empty-handed.
Oh,
So,
love it.
hence why
uh,
you got the package.
yeah, he's exactly right
You
there, man.
know,
That's right.
I couldn't bring pastries, so I brought something that was even better, something you could enjoy with the wife, and especially in this day and age, always looking for something a little healthier, a little smart. We don't like calling it a healthy chocolate. Everybody in the industry calls it a healthy chocolate. Guys, there's no such thing as a healthy chocolate. Chocolate's chocolate.
Yep.
We call it smart indulgence because everybody wants to indulge, everybody wants to enjoy. You know, Vinny, as we were talking earlier, you think about the fact that. Let everybody know out there that today's your wife's birthday. God bless and good luck. Needless to say, we all wish her happy birthday.
Thank you.
But when you're going to indulge, you want to enjoy yourself, and
Yep.
that's what's important. And so, that's really where it started. And Vinny, like I said, you got yours coming too. Seems like the overnight express train didn't feel like going to your house for some reason. So I'll find out for you where the heck yours is. But it's on its way, I promise, because I want
well,
you and your wife to enjoy it.
well,
And now that I know it's your wife's,
where I live, it's probably coming by horse and
we'll get something out to your wife special since I know it's her
buggy.
birthday now. And
Thank you,
that's
man.
only for her. You don't touch it. That's for her.
That's very cool, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, and guys, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the chance to talk about Red, but really, I want to talk about it a little more because I love your podcast, guys. I love the conversations that I've heard you guys talk through,
Uh,
and everything from quesadillas to many, many others that I've heard, and
Jason.
I enjoy it. You seem and I enjoy you guys. So hopefully I can you know give all your fans out there the opportunity to sit back when they get the time and enjoy the podcast, and hopefully I can give them a little bit of information that'll help them in their journey.
There you
Because
go.
man,
ultimately that's all I try and do. So you
man,
ask me,
we can have you on the show as many times as you want to be on the show, too, man. Seriously, anytime you
thank you,
want.
brother.
You can say, hey, man, I want to play. Come on.
No, I appreciate that,
Tell us
man. I
some of your
appreciate
stories.
that. Well, so me personally, so I've been in the food business 30 years.
Wow.
So I've been in a long time. I actually started back with Coca-Cola, long, long time ago. So like the first 15 years of my career were actually in what people call corporate America. And
Coca-Cola. So that's when
guys,
they put Coke in the Coke, right?
that's exactly right. That's exactly. And I was one of the most popular guys. You know what the toughest thing trying to do is trying to actually take the Coke out of the can and cut it in lines because it just made a mess in the mirror. That's a whole different story. But so I grew up, blue collar. I guess is the best way to say it. I grew up in an Italian family, and honestly, guys, we didn't know how to spell the word entrepreneur. Never mind the fact that I was hoping to be one in the future, and I wasn't sitting there at 13 years old saying, "I hope I get the opportunity to be Willy Wonka in my career." But here I am today, and it's been a great journey. I've had some amazing people that I've gotten the chance to work with. I've had some really good mentors. I've had some really, asshole bosses. We've all been there. We've all lived
Sure.
lived that life.
Yep.
And about 15 years ago, I got the chance to be the number three employee. It's interesting. So I was with a very large, one of the top five CBG companies at the time. I had responsibility for over $1 billion. Uh, had about 175 people within the system that reported up to me in some way. And very successful. Company successful. I was successful, enjoying the ride, as they say.
Mm.
And it honestly was through just a whole bunch of hard work. And I was never the smartest guy at the table. I just wasn't. That wasn't me. I was always going to be one of the hardest working. I was always going to be one of the ones that figured out, all right, how do we get this done? I didn't like the word no. Yes, but is fine. But no, I just never became part of my vernacular because there's always a way, always an opportunity. You just have to give it the right amount of time to percolate and put the right people in place to figure it out. You put that little core team together, like the two of you. You sit, you talk, you get through things. One of you may have an issue, and the other one can come up with an idea that perhaps you had thought a little bit about, hadn't thought about at all, but now you start to percolate that idea and you come to some sort of conclusion that works out great for you. And really, what you guys do on a day-to-day basis, that's what I try to do at Red Chocolate. Is just continue. There's a lot of stuff happening out there which we could talk to, and we try to get through it as best we can so that we can deliver on our promises to every Red fan out there. We sell millions of bars every month, but we'll talk
Seriously.
about that later.
Seriously. Good
Yeah,
for you,
yeah,
man.
You didn't do
we're in
no
about
research?
15,000.
But
You
I've
didn't
been
do
out
no
the
re
last
you didn't do no
I've been out the
research. I
last few
told you
nights.
the guy's coming on this show. Read up on it. He's sending you chocolate. And you didn't do
Okay.
nothing.
Well,
Yeah. I
well,
knew he
let's see. The
sold
other night I was out.
over
Uh,
millions of bars a month.
I was out Thursday. I was out Friday. I was out
Ah.
last night. I was out.
What's your nickname?
Who's?
Yours.
I'm blue collar Vin.
Okay. So you should grind, right? You're not the smartest guy at the table, so you should grind.
And why I'm called blue collar Vinny? I spent 42 years in the automobile business, and
Okay.
it was a very very good business for me to be in. I mean, um, when I was 18 years old, I saw all these guys with the big money. I wanted to be one of them. So I learned. I mean, I learned every position in a car dealership. But my niche, come to find out, the last 9 years of the car business was car sales. I was a finance director, parts and service director, but they had this idea of saying, "Hey, Vinny, car sales." Who would have thought?
That
So
you're
I
a
thought
used
real
car salesman? I knew it.
that
I
I
knew it
did real
early
good with
on.
I did real good with the car sales. Yeah, you knew it early on because I kept you I kept you in cars for good many years.
Absolutely.
But so I got sick, had to stop working. Um, Came to Oklahoma with my wife last November to visit the kids. Met this guy that owns a scrap metal company, and here I am today. I buy scrap metal, and we demo. Right now, we're doing a big demo on Sword Technologies. It's a kidney dialysis company, one of five in the area. They make dialysis machines and all the fluid for it.
Nice.
So they were shutting down that particular facility, so we went in, demoed the interior,
How did we
and
turn
I
this
had
show into the Vinny show?
oh, I don't know. We'll get right back to him.
No,
I
that's all right.
thought
I
you
love to
wanted
hear
to
the
know why
story.
I was called blue collar, so I was going to the blue collar part.
Yeah.
So I went from wearing nice dress clothes to wearing jeans and work boots every day, and shave once a week.
So, Vinny, what's it like to run Red Chocolate?
What's it like to run red chocolate? Man, it's an awesome gig. I sell millions of bars every month.
What's your top selling bar, Vinny? Is it the
Red velvet
blonde?
chocolate.
Is it the blonde caramelized? Is it the super dark?
The
Is it
red
the
velvet
milk
chocolate.
chocolate?
Now, you know what, Vinny, it's interesting because you're right, because you never know where your journey's going to take you.
That's
You know, if I had
exactly
asked
right.
you 10, 12 years ago, you wouldn't be sitting here saying, you know what, I'm going to be in Oklahoma and this is what I'm going to be doing.
I won
And you know
this.
what?
I was going to say it last year when I came here for vacation. It just
You know, it happens. You know, it's your journey, brother, and there's
life.
nothing wrong with that. You know, it's your everybody has a life journey, man, and you could push and kick and do everything you can, but ultimately, you know, you can control some of your journey. I tell people all the time, you can control some of your journey. You can control the outcome as long as you look far enough out there. And we all know when we're doing something we're not supposed to be doing, so we shouldn't be surprised at the outcome. I mean,
Hmm.
if you think about it.
That's
So
right.
as long as you're doing what you should be doing to be able to, you know, and again, not to get all holier than thou or anything like that, but to be able to grow as a
It's
person,
Sunday.
Hmm.
you always try to do the right thing. I mean, the moral thing, as we call it. And, you know, I know morals are definitely, you know, in question today from a lot of people, but we all have our own moral compass.
Yeah.
We all understand what we need to do to accomplish to be able to, and I tell my team this often, you know, success, if I put 100 people in line and I ask them what the definition of success is, I'll probably have 96 different definitions.
Yes, you will.
A lot of people, you know, some people will have the same, but you know what your definition of success may be completely different than mine. Yours isn't wrong, mine isn't wrong. It's just how we've considered what's important to us to be able to move through our life, to move through this journey, to collect the stories, I guess is the best way to say it.
Hmm.
Yeah. I agree
Do
with
you
you.
have a family?
I do. I do.
Awesome.
I've been married to an amazing woman who has been my partner, my friend for actually 25 years. Let's see, 3 weeks ago.
Awesome,
So
All
man.
right.
yeah, no, great lady. She's you know, so we had two beautiful boys.
Cool.
One of my boys actually is wants to be an astronaut, so he's
Awesome.
well on his way
Oh,
and
that's great.
graduated with his master's. And then my other son actually is in artificial intelligence and knocking out his PhD, and he's actually just got through a project with the U.S. government. So I got one building the Terminator, and they got the other one trying to get us to Mars. So we'll see who wins first.
Oh,
She got
there
some
you
pretty
go.
smart kids. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Try.
I haven't been able to understand them since they were 12 years old.
It's okay, man.
You know,
You got it.
my
You
That's a
got to
good
be
one.
a proud daddy right now, huh?
That's a good one.
I am, brother. I am. You
Oh,
know what? They're good boys. They really are. You know, they're smart young gentlemen. They say please. They say thank you. They'll open the door for you. You know, and it's because of their mom. Because you know what? I'm just a knucklehead trying to make a living. But no, it's been you know it's been I've been fortunate and I've been blessed both professionally and personally. I don't know what I did, but I think it was because my mom was such a sweet lady. I got some of her stuff.
Your
So
parents raised you properly and you turned that onto your children, man. That's good.
no, it's true. It's true. You know, I had an amazing mom who you know, she'd give you the shirt off her back. You know, she's about 4'10", you know, Virginia Slim smoking, Almaden wine drinking. You know, God rest her soul, she's passed. But up until months before she passed, her and her girlfriends would still go to the casino to spend a couple of dollars. You know, that was
Yeah,
just her thing.
that's
So
nice.
just a sweet lady. I lived out in California early on in my career. We're talking again almost 30 years ago, and they had opened one of the first casinos on the reservation land,
Hmm.
and my mom visited me for 14 days, and we went to the casino 17 times, just to give you a feel. And every time it was 20 minutes, a half an hour. But we ran to the casino. It could be just before dinner, it could be just after
Yeah,
dinner. But we would run to the casino so she could put a few quarters in the
There
slots.
you go.
that's
That
cool.
was her thing.
That's cool.
That's good.
That's
So as I
cool.
was saying, so spent a ton of opportunity back in corporate America, and I had a friend who I'd worked with, and she had this great idea for a kids breakfast, and so she had called me and said, "Look, I know finance, sales, marketing, these different pieces because I had held a bunch of different roles like yourself, Vinny, and." I helped her build the business plan. It was her and her number two person who was really the money person. And so I put them in a position where they were ready to launch the brand. So they had all the partnerships, everything they did. And again, it had no effect on, what I was running. So there was no issue with that. It wasn't like I was getting paid. I just helped her out. If she offered, I was like, no, no, no. I'll help you. You're successful. Use my name sometime in some great acceptance speech. And so gave her what she needed, and actually it was outside of. She used to be in New York, and I was actually driving home from our last visit, which was on a Saturday, and I get a call from her about a half an hour. I'm just going over the bridge, going back home to my family, and she said, "Hey, got great news." I said, "Oh, good. What's that?" "We found the perfect person." I said, "Oh, really? Do I know a person? Who is it?" "That was pretty damn quick." She said, "It's you." I laughed. I said, "Look, I appreciate it." I said, "You can't afford me." And she's like, "Oh no, you're right. I can't afford you. I can't afford what you're making. But what if I give you some equity in the company?" And I had never really thought about that. That just wasn't in my mindset. And I was like, you know what? I got to talk to my wife. I got a couple of small kids. A little nervous. Do I
Sure.
really bet on myself, so to speak? I knew I was good, but you always got that little
Yeah.
little bit of fear in your brain. And so I actually called my wife and I said, "Hey," I said, I told her the situation. And she said, "Do you think it's a good idea?" I said, "Oh, I love the product. I think it's a great idea." She said, "Glenn, honestly," she said two things. "I want, do you really think you got this net you think you have in corporate America? Because let's be honest, if somebody decides you're not the right one, they'll push you out tomorrow."
Hmm.
She said, "And then secondarily, I know you. You'll spend 100 hours a week on the road making sure it's successful. Go for it. Do it for yourself. The family's going to be fine." And I went, "As long as you're okay, I'm going to rock and roll." And so I called her and she said, "Let's do it." And so I turned around and we finalized everything. And 18 months later, we were sitting on top of a $70 million company. And we were very successful.
Nice.
And I remember we were sitting at the table. There was a PE team that came in and bought the company. And the gentleman said, "So, Glenn, what are you going to do now?" And I laughed. I said, "Honestly, I didn't think I'd be out of a job in 18 months." And he said, "Well, let me give you a little secret in private equity. Your whole role, your whole job is to lose the job as quickly as possible and sell the company. So you better make sure it's a soft landing." And so that's where I started. And from there, we've done it 5 times with 5 companies. And then, the fifth company, which we sold, oh, it's got to be about almost 4 years now. We sold, and honestly, guys, it's exhausting. I was on the road, a couple of 100,000 miles a year on an airplane. You do what you got to do. You wear many hats, as I'm sure a lot of people understand. You don't just there's no it's not my job or this is my role. It's just not that way when you go in with small companies and startups and so on and so forth. And so I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, Vinny. I was like you, man. I was like, you know what? I just now thank God it wasn't health. I'm sorry to hear about your health for that.
Hey,
But I was at the point, what do I do? Do I rest? Do I relax? And I just decided I was just going to take it a little easier. And again, traveled all over the world. I've been fortunate to meet people, and actually, Rick and I were talking about this. I've been on almost every continent. I haven't been on Antarctica, but I've been on most every continent, and I've met people. I've been in areas where honestly they hadn't seen a white person ever except in the movies,
sure.
and you know you sit there and you talk with them. You know what they're worried about? They're worried about making enough money to feed their family. They're worried that they want to get a week, 2 weeks vacation so they can go spend time with their family, and they're worried that they can get to the weekend so they can spend time with their family and their significant others and their loved ones or their friends or whatever it is. It ain't about the geopolitic bullshit.
Family.
You know what I mean? It's about family, it's about friends. And if you boil it all down to it, really that's what you want to do is you want to surround yourself with with people that can help you grow,
Mhm.
and you hope you can help make them grow. It's got to be that two-way street. I don't care, personal, professional. The whole idea being that, again, let's take this journey together. Let's calm down and let's take the journey together. Let's enjoy it, and parts of the journey I'm going to get to enjoy better than you, and parts you're going to get to enjoy better than me. We hopefully we get a chance. We talk a little Philly sports right now. You think about the teams we've got.
Let's do it.
Last night, and then last night was a little tough. I'll admit that. I thought to myself when it was 5-0, that's okay. We're gonna have a comeback just like we did the night before, but it didn't happen. But you know what? You look at the teams and sports, and I know there's a lot of things said about Philly fans, and
If
got a couple of stories on that too.
if you go back and research when Philadelphia started this journey as a wild card, they won in every series they played so far. They won the first game, lost the second, came back and wiped it out. So now they won the first. They lost their second game yesterday. Now they're back in Philly, and I
Hmm.
think the fans push them through
You think?
because
Well,
those
if
fans
you
in
look at it,
Phillies, man, those Philly fans, man, they are diehards. Okay,
What about
they
the
I mean,
Eagle fans? Eagle fans are
oh,
diehards.
they'll
They
kill you
threw
if you get
snowballs at
it.
Santa Claus one year.
Yeah.
And I think, and you look at on the NHL side, you look at the Flyers fans. So I had, yeah, again, my kids were young, right? And I took them to a preseason game.
Cool.
Again, kids never seen a hockey game. I like to take them to the different sporting games. I remember my son, my youngest son, I was taking him to his first Phillies game, and he looked at me. He said, "This is the greatest day of my life." So how can you not love that? And it's funny because I asked him, I was like, "Nah, Dad, I don't remember that." I'm like, "I remember it like it happened 15 minutes ago, brother."
Hmm.
But that's all it occurs. So we, I actually, it's funny. I had an office in Pittsburgh at the time, and I got an opportunity. I know, but I got an opportunity to see the Penguins, and this is when Crosby
Oh,
was
the
actually,
Penguins. Okay, I thought you were going to go
yeah.
Steelers. I would say, okay, Penguins,
No, no,
good.
no. I went and saw the Penguins
Okay.
and got a chance to see Crosby. It was during his one of his early years. It could have been his rookie. I don't remember. And he was kind enough to give me a couple of jerseys, and he signed them, right?
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
And
that's
so,
nice.
which was, yeah, it was very cool. It's a very, very nice man. He didn't have to do that. He took time, and we took pictures and so on and so forth. But so I brought home the jerseys to the boys. Now my boys, again, they're fans of the game, but it's not like they're going to sit there and be able to, call off the scorecard or the lineup or something like that. But they enjoy a good sporting event, like most of us do.
Hmm.
And so what was interesting, we go to like I said, we go to the Flyers, and my youngest goes, "Hey, Dad, can I wear the Penguins jersey?" I'm like, you want to wear the Penguins jersey? Go ahead, wear the Penguins jersey, no big deal, right? So he, wears the Penguins jersey. We're walking down again, signed by Sid Crosby. It's the kid don't know any better, I mean, I tell you, he's like 6, 7. So we're walking down in this, and Mama Luke, as we like to say, comes walking over, and he starts yelling at my son. Now, there are a couple of things about me that I tell everybody. Number one, you could badmouth me, you could say whatever you want about me, but don't ever talk about my family. Don't ever talk about my workers, and don't ever talk about the company that I work for, because we're going to have an issue. And
Exactly.
that's just the way I've always been. So I step in between them. I said, "Come on." I said, "The kid's 6." I said, "Are you out of your friggin' mind?" And he looked and went, "Oh, you're right, man. I'm sorry. Never mind." So while us Philly fans, we get wrapped up in it, we're still pretty smart and we understand. It's just that sometimes that frontal lobe gets a little bit gray.
Sure,
So we just
sure.
got to remind ourselves to lighten up that frontal lobe.
There you
But
go.
I digress. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. So the city of Philadelphia now has a chance to do like the Tampa Bay Bucks did with winning a championship with football and hockey. You guys have a chance to do it with football and baseball.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You
Yeah.
know what? I love it because I love the energy and the vibe it gives to Philly. Because you're right. Because the Philly fans they're definitely one of a kind. But and you see it anywhere. Any town, any hometown is always. I don't care if it's you call them bandwagon fans, whatever you want to call them. It's always fun to see people rally around something positive.
Oh
There's nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
And
yeah.
especially right
And
now, yeah, up in Pennsylvania, you guys need something positive.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm not going to say it.
Amen. Is it? Oh, isn't that the truth? I I get asked questions a lot, and I have the same answer that I tell everybody. Look, Red is what we would call agnostic. Look, Red doesn't have an opinion. It's a company. Does Glenn have opinions? Absolutely, Glenn has opinions. A lot of times my opinions are based on what's best for my business. Look,
Yes.
$6 an hour diesel, $6 a gallon diesel. It's not good for my business. It's not good for any business.
No.
Um, you know, Overcapacity on trucking lanes and things like that. Not good for my business.
Hmm.
20% increase on raw materials, not good for my business.
No.
And these are things, I luckily, so the team that I have, a couple of them, a lot of the leaders actually have been with me for probably almost a decade at this point. I've got a supply chain. She leads my supply chain. Her name is Sharon, and she's amazing. She came to me just to tell you honestly why Red is in business today, because as you know, well, I'll get to the story and I'll explain why I say that. So about it's got to be 2.5 years ago, maybe, yeah, about 2.5 years ago. Sharon came to me and said, "Hey, Glenn, we got a situation." I said, "Well, what's that?" She said, I'm seeing freight get crazy." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, because again, all of Red products are crafted in Europe. Everything we do is crafted in our facility in Europe. And so she said, we got containers coming over. I'm having issues getting them here. I'm having issues with increased cost for future containers. I'm seeing something happening. I'm not sure what's happening, but something big is going to happen. I'm talking to folks that I know, and we're all seeing the same thing. I said, "So what do we do about it?" She said, "I want to double our inventory." I looked at her. I said, "Sharon," I said, "you want me to kill my cash flow? You can imagine taking, the size of the company and doubling it. All of that cash being put into it. And remember, we're chocolate, so it's not like it could sit there for 2 years and we could sell it as needed. We're
Right.
not blankets.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything has a shelf life." And I said, "Are you sure?" I said, "That is going to put stress on our company like no other." And she said, "Glenn, I'm telling you, we need to do it." And so thank God I listened to her, because really, that's what saved Red Chocolate. Because while everybody else in the U.S. was having all these problems, I'm proud to say Red has not had a price increase, a late shipment, or even a cut purchase order. And everybody's seen those shelves and how ugly they looked. Yet, with all the growth that we've had, and we're in 15,000 store doors now, and we actually launched the brand. So, and let me tell you that story. So, this is a good story. So, like I said, I sold a company, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I got a phone call from the ownership group. Now, Red Chocolate's been around about 20 years in Europe. And about now we're in about 26 countries. But I had known Red because I had seen Red, and it's really good, guys. Look, I know I run the company. All BS aside, Red is really good. Because at this point in my career, I don't need the next widget. I don't need it anymore. So I don't have to do what I do. And so I try and I went, this is really good. And, again, working with consumers for 27 years at the time, you get to learn stuff. Even if you're a knucklehead like me, you still get to learn stuff. And so, I kind of knew what the consumer was looking for. And so they had reached out and called me and said, "Hey, look, we're thinking of coming into the US. Your name's popped up a few times from people that we're talking to. Would you mind meeting?" And I said, "Sure." So I actually drove up to New York. We met in New York. And the meeting was 4 hours long. I spent the first 3.5 hours explaining to them how crazy they were to want to come in the US. I said, because if you come in the US, you've got this beautiful, gorgeous company that's doing great in Europe. I know everybody looks at the US as the next great bastion because of just how the consumer is and how we are very accepting of new opportunities. And I spent 3.5 hours explaining to them, look, it'll bankrupt you. You don't want to do it. And it's funny because who became my boss afterwards, she looked at me and she said, "Are you done?" I said, "Yeah, I'm done." I said, "I told you everything I need to tell you." And she said, "So when do you want to start?" And I looked at her, I said, "You're either crazy or you know something I don't. And either way, this could be a lot of fun." And so my quote unquote retirement lasted about 2 months. And then I came on and being employee number one here and became a partner in the business. And I took about 5 months to put the infrastructure together. So the finance team, the supply chain team, put all that together, and we were ready to launch. We launched in October. It's 3 years this month. We launched in October, 5 months before a global pandemic. So, people say, how do you prepare? But I say, you don't prepare. I call it punching through the mud. Because if you think about it, you could build this amazing plan. And I'm talking about, again, personally, professionally, makes no difference. You could build this amazing plan and it's built on what you know today. And so therefore, what happens tomorrow
But yeah,
may change. And so you've got to be able to be prepared for that. And I apologize, guys. I didn't mean to go on here.
oh
No,
no, you're good.
that's what we love.
You're good. That's what we need to know. You know, and people need to know that. You pursued something. You were given an opportunity, and you seized that opportunity. You know, and that lady was smart to come to you to double the inventory.
Yeah, yeah, and and it's like anything else. I think as you go through life, man, as long as you listen to what's happening around you, and that's everywhere, man. That's professionally, that's personally. If you listen to what's around you and you allow your instinct to take a look at it, then I think that you got an opportunity for success. Again, whatever success means for you.
Well,
That's all we're trying to do, right?
you're exactly right, because when I sold cars, I ended up the number one salesman in the state of Florida, number 29 in the country, and people asked me how I did that, and I told them when the customer was in front of me, they told me how to sell them the car. I just had to listen to them talk, and they told me what I had to do.
That's right,
That
man.
was that easy.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the same way, really, in everything, especially in business. Again, the old saying, the good Lord gave you two ears and one mouth, so make sure you listen twice as much as you talk.
Hmm. Well, look at Rick there. I mean, when Rick was getting kick started, I went over to him and I said, "Man, let's go ahead and get you started, man." So look at where he's at
Yeah,
today.
that's right. That's right.
You're welcome, Ricky. My first stint with drywall, Glenn, is I had a vacation coming up in the car business one year. Rick comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man, what do you got planned for your vacation?" I go, "Nothing really." He goes, "I need some help with some drywall."
Uh,
Right?
that was when we were young and able to do it. Now
Yeah.
I can't lift a sheet of drywall now.
And
I,
they
I
had a
don't think
you
I
know,
specialty.
don't think
They
Glenn
didn't have.
Glenn knows my background. I'm a contractor, Glenn. I own a
yeah, no,
I own a drywall company, Rough Rider Construction. And
right.
we do
We,
we do new construction, hang finish and spray. We do house renovations. Uh, this devastation with the hurricane, we're taking care of a lot of people
yeah,
with flood damage. Right now, we didn't need to travel to the areas. There's enough around where we, our local
Really?
area, yeah, where we live
that's
and where
good.
we operate
That's
our
good.
business. Again, we've been blessed, and I, I've done it. Excuse me, I've done it a few times, a couple times, and you learn from your mistakes. And as long as you don't make them again, you can do better. So, this go
It's
around
funny you
with
say
it.
that.
I learned from the last one. Don't grow too big unless you can handle it. I grew a little too big, a little too fast, and things got out of hand. So I had to reel
You
it
know,
back in a little bit.
it's funny, Rick, you say that, and I tell people all the time. I know people with 30 years of experience and expertise. I also know people that have been in the business for 30 years and they've got 1 year of expertise because they continuously make the same
Hmm.
mistakes and problems. They
Yeah,
just don't seem to learn.
exactly.
You talk about construction. So I've been in construction myself. So I was 17 years old and I was working for a general contractor. Wanted to go to college again, didn't want to take out a bunch of student loans. went to a private Catholic college, and wanted to be able to pay my way. Again, coming from a blue collar family, first in my family to go to college, and I actually went to my boss and I said, "Hey, you know, I got to go on my own. I love working with you, but I got to make more money, man. I got to pay for my school." And so he's like, "So what's your plan?" And I told him, and I said, "Look, I'm just going to throw some flyers out there, and whatever small jobs I can get, whether it's redoing a bathroom, whatever it is, I'm going to do it." He's a sweet man. No kids. He said, "Look, Glenn, you're like one of my sons. You've been with me for 4 years because I started, moving, cement blocks for him just to make a few bucks." First time I met him, it was he also had a paving group that he had. I met him at a Burger King. I was sitting there having a sandwich, and he came up to me. He said, "You want to make $10?" And I looked at him. I said, "What?" He said, "You want to make $10?" I was like, and again, being young, I said, "Yeah. How do I make $10?" He said, "Here's a broom. Go sweep those lines. My guy's got to paint them." I went, "All right." So he gave me a broom and $10, and I swept the lines in a Burger King parking lot. I guess I did a good job because he came back to me. He said, "You want to do more?" I said, "Yeah." He said, give me your dad's name and number." Gave him, my dad's name, gave him the home number. He called my dad, told him who he was. My dad's like, "Yeah, let him work." And so that's how I began my career. But the reason I bring it up, so my brother has, been a restaurant owner for many years, been in the restaurant business. I remember he gave me the keys to a place that it was an old Chinese restaurant. He said, "Here, I just signed a lease on it, blah, blah, blah. Go take a look, see what we got to do." I said, "Okay." So went up there and they had one of those
Hold on.
big tiki huts that were hanging off of the ceiling. And it was, by wire. And so one of my guys with me, I said, "Hey, do me a favor, run out to the car, run out to the truck and grab a ladder and grab a pair of pliers, wire cutters." And so he does. Like when he comes back in, I cut the first wire, nothing, just there's a little bounce on it. I cut the second wire, this thing, woof, right, and it comes down and it hits a bunch of tables, and we're laughing. I cut the third wire, boom, and it breaks a few more tables because it's all gonna be, we're going down to the studs. So I knew
Right.
we had to throw everything away. And then I cut the fourth one and it hits the ground and there's dirt and it's crashing and banging. Really, demo, that's the fun about demo, is making as much noise as you possibly can. And as I'm doing it and we're laughing and joking, the realtor walks in. "What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean, what am I doing?" "George gave me the keys, blah, blah, blah. He hasn't signed the paperwork. He doesn't own this place." You want to talk about a bead of sweat coming down my forehead? Because now I just destroyed something that I thought my brother owned. So I call him. And hey, I tell him, he's like, "I got the paperwork. Don't worry. You tell him to come see me." And luckily he was right. He had the paperwork and everything was done. But yeah, we got some interesting stories
Yeah,
from
I'm
construction.
in
You
there
meet some
doing
great people.
demo. The realtor comes in. My brother goes, "Hey, I got the lease. You tell him to come and see me."
Now you from a big family too?
No, I'm not actually. I've got one brother, one sister. I'm the youngest,
Okay.
and so
Oh,
there's actually there's about a 10-year difference between me and my sister, and then my brother's right in the middle.
How old are you?
So still close. So I'm 57
why
years
you
old.
ask
There you
those
go.
questions?
My
Wow.
favorite colors are red. I'm a tourist. What else you need to know, Vinny? I didn't know
Okay.
this was a
Do
dating
you
site
like
all of a
taking
sudden.
long
Everything else.
walks
I
on the
like.
beach? What do
I was
you?
gonna say I like long walks on the beach. Vinny,
We're
am
fixing
I
to
kind of
become
like your
we're
guy? What are you trying to say?
we're fixing to become good friends here.
we, you,
Yeah.
you like him, Vinny? You sweet on the
Yeah.
guy.
I like the guy.
Guy
I
said
like the
he's
guy.
married.
I
Guy
appreciate
said
that,
he's married. It doesn't swing that way.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness, Rick.
oh, stop.
Too
Ricky.
funny, too funny.
It is.
Ricky,
But yeah,
Ricky,
guys,
Ricky.
as we were saying, so I, I, I guess the best way, to just to sum up what we are talking about, it's interesting because I can see the relationship that you guys have. You
Hmm.
can tell you're close. You can tell you have a lot of fun, and ultimately, I mean, isn't that what you want to do? You just
Yeah.
want to have a few smiles, a few laughs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes, and especially in today, I think people need a few more laughs in their lives. They got to calm down a little
I
bit.
think so
They
Oh,
too.
have to calm down.
it's
I tell people, it's funny. I say that. Now, let me tell you a quick story. So, we happen to be the number one chocolate sold on the Home Shopping Network. Okay. We've been the number one chocolate there for 2 years now. And It was interesting. So met with the team, and when we first started, and so we it was again during the pandemic, and so they were doing what's called remote, and so you do it off studio because usually you can go to the studio right in Tampa, Rick,
Yes.
and you could do what you need to do. So they said, no, we're going to do remote. That's how we're doing it now. Nobody's allowed in the studio. Okay, no problem. So we get in touch with a studio team here. We rent a studio, camera guys, everything, right? We got everything set up because I want it to be professional. I don't want to be, I'm proud of my brand. Like I tell people all the time, I walk into a store and I see red on the shelf. It's like seeing one of my kids graduate. It's just a proud moment for me. You know what I mean? It's something that my team really worked hard on to get it to that point, and it's exciting. And so we get there now. We have to be there at 6 a.m. Lighting, everything. We do an 8 a.m. test because it's the first time we're doing it with them, but we don't go live till 5 p.m. So it's a
Oh,
long day,
wow.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a long
no
day.
doubt.
And so we get there at 6 a.m. Crew is there. They come in. We're setting up. The place. Crew is getting lighting done. I'm standing there. Blah blah blah. Now, when you're on TV, you've got an earpiece and you've got usually three people talking to you. So now I'm used to a lot of voices in my head, but this time I actually have to listen to them. So it's a little tougher. And so you've got the camera folks, that you have in front of you. You've got the host, of course, because you're having the conversation, and then you've got the control room back at the facility, and they all tell you different things at different times, and you're trying to have a conversation like a normal human being. So 8 a.m. comes, we're ready to do the test. Lighting's been done. We've been working on it now for 2 hours, and so the control room calls, and we hook in, and they say, okay, Glenn, do a test. This is Glenn Gardone. I'm doing a test, to make sure that you can hear my microphone. Glenn, sounds great. Perfect. Tell the guys to turn the camera on. Guys, turn the camera on because they can't hear. Guys, turn the camera on. Camera's on. And I'm a camera's on. We don't see you, Glenn. They don't see me, guys. They don't see you. No, they don't see me. No, we don't see you. This is how the conversation's going back and forth. And so they said, okay, well, hold on. Tweak on something. How about now? Okay, how about now? Do you see me now? No, we don't still see you. Well, can you hear me? Oh, we can hear you fine, but we can't see you. Now the guys, I'm like, okay, guys, I have professionals here. Let's figure this out because the control room saying, Glenn, we got to get this right, otherwise we got to cancel. And I'm like, this is a great opportunity for Red, and we're not sure what's going to happen here, and we want to do it. So guys are fumbling around. The camera guys, they can't figure out. They said, okay, look, give us 120 seconds. We're going to pull everything down, and then we're going to boot it back up. So I said, okay, control room. I hang up with them. They do what they need to do. The camera guys, they bring the system back up. Control room calls and says, all right, Glenn, let's do a test. I do my test. This is Glenn, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we hear you great. Tell the guys to turn the camera on. Guys, turn the camera on. Cameras are on. And all I said was, oh, fuck. All right. I said, they say the camera's on. Glenn, we don't see you. I'm like, oh, guys, come on now. Now I got two beads of sweat dripping down my forehead. And the head of marketing, she's going into a bit of a panic because she's like, well, what's going on here? Because, it's her name. And we're all extremely passionate about what we do at Red. We really are. I have surrounded myself with some amazing people, as I said 100 times. And, and I tell people all the time, I can teach you a computer. I can teach you, how to sell. I can teach you finance. I can't teach passion. It's something you either got or you don't got. And so that's, I like to surround myself with passionate people. So anyway, marketing person calls the head of the place that we've rented and says, hey, we're having a problem here. Oh, nobody called you? What do you mean nobody called me? Yeah, we lost internet service yesterday. It's supposed to come back on today. They said, what do you mean it's supposed to come back on? Yeah, we don't have internet. There's no, the system's not working. And so I look at everybody and I went, and she comes out and she's in a panic. She said, Glenn, I'm so sorry. I'm like, look, not your fault. I mean, I can't blame you. I said, but I'm going to make an executive decision. They're like, what are we doing? And I still have the control room on the phone. I said, guys, you give us 1 hour and we're going to be ready. And they went, okay, you know what? Well, we'll talk now. At this point, it's about 8:45. And they said, Glenn, take three. We're going to call you back at noon. Okay, great. I looked at everybody and said, okay, everybody, pack it up. We're going to my house. And they went, really? I'm like, got to do something. We can't stay here. I can't sit and hope that the Wi-Fi is going to come
Right.
back on,
Yeah.
that internet's going to come back on. So I called my wife, God bless her. I said, hey, I got good news and bad news. She said, what's that? I said, well, the good news is I'm coming home early. She said, oh, excellent. She said, well, what's the bad news? I said, the bad news is I'm bringing everybody and we're filming in the kitchen. Get it prepped. And so she had to go through our entire kitchen, and anything with a logo had to either be covered up or taken out. So we come in and she is running around like an absolute maniac. She did a beautiful job. We set up the camera crew. We did our test and we set a record the first night we went live, which was awesome. We were actually the top selling item for that time slot. And from there on, it's been an amazing partnership. And I love the HSN team. They're an awesome group. They get it. It's you love doing things for them because they appreciate it. And really think about it. What do we want? Right? We want a little of
Yeah,
appreciation. So it's been a great partnership, and that's how we began at HSN. With Glenn almost having a heart attack. So, like I said, calm down. It's so easy.
that's right. That's right. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Amen. Amen.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. So you had a pretty eventful life then. Now let
Yeah,
me ask you
yeah, I
this: do you
had.
get to go to Europe to the home office?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm over there quite often. I travel. I We just launched in the UK, and so I actually handle the UK also. So I get to go out to the UK about every 6 7 weeks, and I am with the group. And our facility is actually in Latvia. That's where all of our product is produced. It's one of our facilities. It's the facility that handles all of the US and UK products. So I
Cool.
keep it to all in one. So yeah, I get to go out and see them probably, let's say, every 10 weeks or so, roughly. So I get a chance to go out. They're an awesome group out there. They're phenomenal. They're a phenomenal team.
Now,
You know,
do you ever take your wife on any of those trips?
I do. I do
Okay,
actually.
cool.
She does get to. It's
Cool.
funny you mentioned that. So I was in Germany, and this was in February before the pandemic hit. And I was in Germany, and I was actually at a show, and there were these signs. And again, guys, I've been to trade shows forever, right? And this is a really big candy trade show, one of the biggest in the world. It's massive. And I saw signs, and they're from people from Asian countries. I'm Taiwanese, not Chinese. I'm Japanese, not Chinese. There were all these signs. I'm like, I've never seen this. Why do people care if you're from China or not, right? Didn't even get it, right? So my wife and I afterwards, I was there for 4 days, and afterwards we decided, you know what? Let's spend a couple of days and go check out, the Netherlands. Let's see what it's like. Let's go see some windmills. What the hell? We didn't get to travel much early on in our marriage because we had kids quickly, and
Hmm.
I was trying to grow business. I mean, I was trying to be successful. I wanted to make sure my family, every time they came home and flipped the switch, a light actually came
Huh,
on.
yeah.
That was my goal. And so we were out there, and you'd hear these little rumbles on the news about a flu. And I was talking to my wife, and she's like, "Yeah, supposedly there's this flu going around." I'm like, there's a flu going around all the time. Who cares? What's the difference? There's a flu. She's like, yeah, it's called COVID. And she's telling me, like, I got to watch the news. I haven't heard anything about this. So we run around. We're going around. No big deal. Everybody's having fun. As we're coming home, the world starts shutting down.
Wow.
And I'm saying to myself, am I going to get back to America?
Right.
Right? Because the last thing you want is all of a sudden they shut down the borders. If you remember, they weren't letting anybody fly anywhere.
Yeah.
We fly in. I'm going to tell you, it was like a Thursday, we'll say. We fly in on a Thursday. We're fine. Perfect flight. Everything's good. We're in one of these club stores, and we're turning the on. We're talking, and you can feel a little bit of excitement in the air. And it's like, this is weird. Different kind of vibe. And my wife said, yeah, I heard that people are going crazy shopping. And we're still, going down the aisle in our shopping cart. I turn the corner on the paper goods aisle where they have like paper towels and
Hmm.
toilet paper. It is fucking pandemonium. There are people jumping over pallets. And I looked at my wife. I said, does this flu give you the shits? What the hell is going on
Yeah.
here? And she was like, I don't know. So I was like, well, we might as well pick up some toilet paper. I don't know if we need it, but hell, I guess everybody else is. So grab my toilet paper, and 5 days later, the world shuts down.
Yeah. That's nuts.
So
Me and
yeah.
that boy there, we talked every day about that thing when it started,
Yeah,
because
every day.
I have every underlying health condition there. So my doctor wrote my company a note and says he is not working. So, I told my boss, I said, I can plug in the, computer at the house. I can sell cars from the house. So that's what I did. I
Right.
sat in my garage, dialed in, called my customers, sold cars, and then I had the dealership take it to their house, a home delivery, because people goes, well, I don't want to go get the car with COVID. I said, well, we'll come to your house. We'll slide the paperwork across the hood. You sign it, slide it back. We'll take your trading. Really good.
Where there's a way, there's a will, brother.
Uh,
Where there's a way, there's a will.
yep.
That's
But
true. That's true.
so that pandemic, and so then they built a special room at the dealership for me to work out of, you know. So I carried
Nice.
myself in every day, but the employees left and right just getting it. One guy died,
Oh,
so I said, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I just, because we were one of the biggest dealerships. We had 300 people a day walking through that place. I said, yeah,
mm,
man, I can't do it, can't do it. So then I went to work for Rough Rider there. So I drove from Tampa to Eustis. Spent a week out there and helped him do his remodels.
yeah. Nah, we went through some extreme protocols ourselves because I told everybody, and it was interesting to give you some insight. So it hit, and of course, I told everybody in the offices, look, let's just all relax, take a step back, let's figure this out. Everybody stay home. Now, my supply chain person I was telling you about, Sharon, she
Hmm.
called. She said, Glenn, I still got to run a business. I'm going into the office, and I talked to my team, and they said, look, we got to do it. We got to if Brett's going to be around, we got to ship product, and we got to bring product in from Europe. So they went in. I said, look, guys, let's make sure, and we did the right protocols and made sure everybody was safe and secure, and made sure. But what was even more interesting was even early on with my team, I got a call from my head of marketing. She's like, look, do you mind if I come in? I'm like, you don't have to. Don't worry about it. She's like, no, Glenn, honestly, I want to come in. She said, because I miss I miss being able to have a conversation with people and being able to get these ideas and having that open communication. And slowly but surely, and I say slowly, it really wasn't slowly. It was over the next probably 8 weeks. Everybody said, look, we'll do the right thing. We'll keep our distances, but we still want to talk to each other. We still want to see each other because we're family.
Yeah.
We had, I've had people, spend the night at my home because, they had, bad weather, and
Sure.
it's just, I have parties, I have get-togethers, and everybody comes over, and it's one of those things where, you know how you can tell if you've got a great organization or that you're part of something bigger than yourself. Go to dinner. If your dinner lasts 30 minutes and all of a sudden you guys take off, you don't have cohesive. I guess that's my Italian upbringing.
Yeah.
When I go to dinner and it's 2 to 3 hours long, that means everybody around that table enjoys each other's company. And if you can enjoy each other's company on a professional and personal level, man, you got something special. You got something special.
Yep. All right. That's a good note to leave on.
Amen.
Amen.
So, Rick, Vinny, again, thank you for your time. I
Oh,
Absolutely.
really appreciate your
thank you,
time,
man.
man.
It was
It
awesome,
was
man. You're
awesome.
awesome.
I
I
I
enjoyed our conversations.
I think I'm going to come up to Philly and have a cheesesteak with you one time.
Well,
Send
if
me,
you
and
do,
if you do, overnight me one. That's
You
what he's
got it.
doing when he goes to Cleveland. He's going to overnight me
Yeah.
some pies.
I'm going
I love
yeah,
it.
I'm going on I RV, so I'm going on a trip coming up in a couple weeks up to Ohio and hang out with some family in Cleveland and stuff. There's an old pizza joint we
Nice,
used to love, Biagio, so I'm gonna overnight some pies out.
nice,
Yeah.
perfect. That's beautiful. Yeah, you come out to Philly, definitely. We'll show you some beautiful food, and I'll make you a nice dinner.
Yeah.
I make a nice Italian
You
dinner.
got it. I'm gonna take you up on it. You watch it.
Absolutely.
Be
Feel
careful.
free. Feel free.
All right, guys.
Wow.
Great show. Great show. Glenn, I'll text you when it gets uploaded, buddy.
Sounds great,
Cool.
guys, and thank you, and I
Oh, thank
All
you,
appreciate
right.
it.
man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind me saying one last thing, if
Go for it.
anybody wants to go on red-chocolate.com, you can learn about the story of Red. You can find out where we're sold or pick us right up on e-commerce. I don't want to turn this into an infomercial, but hopefully we can make more and more Red fans out there and get a bunch of people out there to do a little bit more smarter indulgence.
There you
You
go.
know, Red is all about pleasure, no guilt.
Ricky, give them the plug.
Awesome.
You got diabetes and you had some sugar-free candy. You liked it.
That's right.
Give them
And
the plug.
it didn't spike my sugar.
There
And
you
you
go.
liked
It
it.
There you go.
and it's awesome. It's
You
fantastic.
liked it. There
Hell
you
yeah,
go.
I loved it. I didn't like
There you
it.
go.
I loved it.
And guess what? When mine comes in and I eat it in our next show, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna plug it.
Put it up on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
There you go.
Do that too.
Love it.
Hey, one thing before you call it, Ricky,
What?
the Buckeyes. I'll stay Buckeyes.
Well, I didn't want to say it. They beat a Penn State. They beat a Pennsylvania team. I didn't want to toss that up in Glenn's face, man. Come on.
Yeah, but Penn State played them tough, man. I
They
told you.
did.
I
Yeah.
told you the night before, man. I said you better
Yeah.
watch it, man.
Four
Because I said,
touchdowns in 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. Come on.
yeah, but what would they do in the
Crazy.
first half?
Nah, they didn't do
And
anything.
then,
So
and then the other one I wanted to mention was the University of Central Florida beating the Cincinnati Bearcats.
It's the first time they ever lost to a non-ranked team, man.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
Cincinnati's a bad
well,
team.
I'll tell you what's interesting. So my youngest actually went to school at the University of Alabama,
Oh.
and I'll tell you what.
Uh,
So, and I'll tell you, you go to an Alabama football game,
Oh.
it's like watching an NFL team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. And
Yeah.
then what's interesting, my other son actually goes to school out in Utah, University of Utah,
oh,
Okay.
and so I went and saw quite a few Utes game, and actually was there last year with my son, Utes versus Oregon, and it was a great game. Fans were awesome, and just when you get a crowd of 60,000, just all in unison chanting, there's nothing more fun.
Nothing like
That's
oh,
probably one of the biggest reasons I go. I played sports growing up, but never at the elite level. I was I played football and baseball. Here's a quick story for you. So I played football and baseball. I was 10th grade, and I was a pretty good baseball player, decent football player, running back. And we were playing against, and I still remember talking about it. I still remember the kid's name who hit me. And I was running through the middle. It was on a play. We were playing another school. Run up the middle, wide open. I'm running as hard and as fast as I can, feeling like I'm running downhill. This kid comes up out of nowhere and hits me so hard, he knocks me back 5 feet and my helmet is sideways. I remember trying to, I ran back to the huddle, and the quarterback, who was a friend of mine, of course, looks at me, and this is exactly what it sounded like. Are you okay? And I looked, I went, oh no. And I remember trying to run off the field, and it was like trying to run sideways. It was like I'd spun around 16 times. And I sat there and I went, you know what? I think I'm going to stick with baseball because if anybody comes near me, I can at least swing a bat at them. And so I stuck with baseball, and my football career was short lived, man. Oh, did he hit me hard? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's good.